Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another video. So we're doing another episode of White Dwarf Retro Read Through today, and as promised in the last one, today we're doing White Dwarf 169. Now, as you can see from the front cover, we've got that artwork on there from Codex Space Wolves, and this was the month that Codex Space Wolves came out for 2nd edition, but funnily enough, there's actually nothing in the magazine about Codex Space Wolves, which you'll see very shortly. But brilliant piece of art on the front cover. This is the Codex that it's from, so 2nd edition Codex Space Wolves. Absolutely fantastic book. Maybe we'll do a retro read through for that one day. But without further ado, let's have a look at what's inside the actual magazine itself. So as you can see, it also came with a free White Dwarf cardboard battle bunker. Now, I remember getting this magazine back in the day, and I had that bunker and put it together, and I did use it in games of 40k, but unfortunately, this isn't my original issue. I had to get this one off eBay, and it doesn't have the bunker in there, I'm afraid. But it would have been nice to find one, but I think getting one of those on eBay with the bunker still in there would be very rare. So opening it up, usual inside the front cover, we've got some battle scenes. So Ultramarines Assault Squad up against some Gretchin. And then we've got Dwarf Slayers and a Gyrocopter against some River Trolls, and led by an Orc boss, which is pretty awesome. Issue 169 is from January 1994, as you can see. So inside we've got Codex Space Wolves front cover by Jeff Taylor, but then as you can see, there's actually nothing about Codex Space Wolves in there. We've got usual news and stuff like that. Then we've got Adeptus Arbites, or Arbites as I used to call them when I was younger, and I think a lot of people still do actually call them Adeptus Arbites. But full article and rules for those. We've got a painting guide by Mike McVey, Arkhan the Black by Jervis Johnson, 1994 Golden Demon, Skaven Monsters and Characters. We've got instructions and rules for using the cardboard battle bunker, or the paper battle bunker really. It was a very thin card. And then we've got a strong point article by Jervis Johnson, assembling your battle bunker, and then Death on the Sea of Claws. We've got a Man of War battle report, which is pretty awesome as well. And if you've never seen Man of War, you'll see what that is shortly. It's the old naval battle game. So this month's releases for Warhammer Fantasy: Skaven Vermin Lord, $11.99, Skaven Rat Ogres, Skaven Lord Skrulk, Skaven Warlord Queek, Leash King's Chariot, Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits, and Hobgoblin Bolt Thrower. You can see the Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits down there with all the wonderful bright colours from back then. The Goblin Green bases, of course. 40k, we had Codex Space Wolves, $9.99. Wasn't that good when the days of Codexes were $9.99. Warhammer 40,000 painting guide. Space Wolf Dreadnought, which was Beyond the Fell-Handed. There is an advert for that in the magazine, which you'll see very shortly. Adeptus Arbites, 3 miniatures per blister, $3.99. Adeptus Arbites, or Arbites Captain. I'm just going to say Arbites for the rest of the review. I apologise if you triggered for that, but I'm just going to say that. It's much easier. So Adeptus Arbites Captain, $3.99. 2 miniatures per blister. Space Marine Warriors box set, $9.99. And Space Hawk Warriors box set. I think they may have been the plastic Space Marines and plastic Space Hawks from Warhammer 40,000 2nd edition. I don't know if it actually does say there or not. But then Dark Millennium it's talking about there as well. And then for Epic, for Space Marine, we've got the Squat Cyclops, massive super heavy, so another cool one for Epic. Moving on, we've got the advertisement for Codex Space Wolves there. As I said, really cool artwork on the front there with the Wolfguard Terminators. And then we've got the article for the Adeptus Arbites. A little bit of fiction there. And of course, those awesome iconic miniatures. Really, really like those. And we've got the new plastic ones now that we've seen for Kill Team, but these are still some fantastic looking miniatures. I do love that colour scheme with the black and white and the red weapons. Obviously, it's your retro, super 40k 2nd edition colours, but then we've got rules for using them in your games of 40k and stuff like that. How to field an arbitrator squad. Weapons, rules for the combat shotgun and the solid shot, scatter shot and executioner shot. And then we've got rules for your champion and various bits of other weapons they can take. Bolt guns, power sword, power maul and suppression shield, flamer, grenade launcher, and then you can upgrade your grenade launcher with choke grenades, photon flares or scare grenades as well. Melter gun, needle rifle and a plasma gun. So back then you could take your space cops on the battlefield with all sorts of different weapons, and they really were some cool looking miniatures. As usual, Games Workshop advertisements in your magazines. One of my favourite ever miniatures, Wolfguard Terminator Sergeant. Do love that one. List of stores as usual. Games Workshop Manchester moving to their massive new store with some absolutely classic artwork there that were featured on the 2nd edition Space Marine box. One of my favourite pieces of 40k art there as well. Ben from his channel 90% Geek and from our Warhammer podcast. I think he actually worked in that store, so you probably remember that. Heavy Metal Painting Guide by Mike McVey. So this is funny because they could have really done this article on the Space Wolves, but instead it's all about the Eldar. So even though Codex Space Wolves came out, we've got a painting guide for the Eldar. So there's how to paint Waystones, or Spirit Stones as they're more or less referred to, just with your base coat, and then just brighter colours at the bottom, dark colour at the top, and then your white dot. And then there's a painting guide on all the different craft worlds with the old classic Metal Guardian miniatures. So we've got Alatok, Ulthway, Samhan, Ealtan and Eandon. So step-by-step guides on how to paint them with the super old paints. So base colour is a mix of Moody Blue, Enchanted Blue, and then Enchanted Blue and Skull White highlights, talking about the helmet there. Plague Fleets for Man of War, Skaven Doombringer, Skaven Deathburners and Skaven Warp Raiders. So Plague Fleet was one of the expansions for Man of War. We also had Sea of Blood as well. Then Warhammer, we've got Arkhan the Black, the Leash King, by Jervis Johnson. So background and rules for using Arkhan the Black and his super hat. Awesome banner there. I love that banner. Fantastic. Plastic skeleton horses there, not changed. So if you've got Warhammer the Old World Tomb Kings, you'll know what these are and you'll know how fun they are to build. Not. But yeah, really nice classic miniature there. The Leash King's Mighty Chariot. And then, as I said, rules for using him in your games of Warhammer Fantasy. And then we've got Golden Demon 94. Dark Millennium cover art there as well with the Dark Angels. And then the 7th International Miniatures Painting Championships. So we've got, I think these are the categories. These are not the entrants for Golden Demon 94. These are just categories. So they've got an example of Nell Stormcaller there. We've got Eldar Titan, Banelord or a Chaos Titan there. Some awesome miniatures. But I said in the previous White Dwarf retro read-through, I wonder how some of these miniatures that were submitted for Golden Demons back in the day would get on in a modern Golden Demon, now that the painting process and skills and methods of painting have moved on so much. But there we go. And then moving on, Skaven Monsters and Characters by Andy Chambers, I should say. Vermin Lord, so Demon of the Horn Rat. So we've got Skaven Vermin Lord now. Now obviously we've got the new Skaven for Age of Sigmar 4th edition, and we've just got that massive centerpiece model for the Skaven, which is absolutely fantastic. So just shows how things have moved on, but back then that was a pretty beastie character. Then we've got Rat Ogres from Clan Moulder, rules for using Lord Skroak. And then we've got Quick Head Taker, I think. Yeah, there we go. Quick Head Taker, rules, background, a little bit of information and stuff like that. And then advertisement for Games Workshop Australia. I apologise if you can hear the rain in the background, by the way. It's absolutely throwing it down here. Warhammer 40,000 Battle Bunker. So this was the free bunker that you got with this issue of White Dwarf. So it was a card bunker that you could just put together using your games of 40k. You didn't get a base with it like that. You would have to add something like that yourself. And it was great. It wasn't blue like that. Perhaps that was a prototype or just a different colour print that they got done for the magazine. But we had rules for using them in your games of 40k. So we've got the bunker floor plan here, where you can keep track of your models. So obviously there's firing slots for your different miniatures, and then there's the door. And then you've got your fire arcs there for using the bunker as well. So it was pretty cool. You can set up a squad of Space Marines in this bunker and cover all angles. And then you rules for attacking the bunker and stuff like that, attacking from the bunker, moving it in or out of the bunker, and then attacking the bunker doors and vision slits and stuff like that. There was special weapon rules. So, for example, Harlequin's Kiss. A model armed with a Harlequin's Kiss that is within 1 inch of a vision slit or open bunker door may use the weapon to attack any models inside that bunker. Roll on the Harlequin Kiss vehicle crew penetration table in the war gearbook to see what happens to any models inside the bunker. So you can imagine how that would be, or maybe like a Warp Spider's Death Spinner fired through the door. It's going to make a mess of anyone inside the bunker. Space Marine Rhino, the old kit there, painted up in ultramarine colours, still looks awesome. And then moving on, we've got mission cards for your bunker assault, hold the line. Then we've got the battle bunker card itself, so you could cut this out, fold it in half, and if you wanted to, put a piece of card in between. But in 2nd edition 40k, we had these mission cards as well as war gear cards and vehicle cards as well. So this is just like a vehicle card, but for your battle bunker. And then Ultramarines Assault Squad, awesome looking kit. I love the checkered pattern around the jump packs there as well, and the old jump pack sergeant. And then this is pretty much the only Space Wolves content that we've got in this edition of White Dwarf, even though we had Codex Space Wolves on the cover, but an absolute classic miniature with an absolute classic banner as well. Bjorn the Fell-Handed Space Wolves Dreadnought, and we've got Bjorn's banner there that you could photocopy if you had the ability to do that, or you could even cut it out and stick it on your back banner pole like some people did. Pack markings, Ragnar's badge there, so he's part of Ragnar's Great Company. And then we've got the Lightning Claw with the Heavy Flamer and Bjorn's Assault Cannon. Absolutely fantastic second edition miniature. Weighed an absolute ton like all the Metal Dreadnoughts did, but I never actually got that and I always wanted it. So a very, very cool Dreadnought. Goth Orcs. So we've got Goth Knobs and Goth Scarboys there, metal miniatures. And you can see there the plastic miniatures from second edition 40k box set. Then we've got a mission here, Mission 4, Strong Point for 40k. You see the Orc deployment zone and the Space Marine deployment zone there with some battle bunkers as well. And I think this mission is all about attacking the Space Marine battle bunker. So yeah, we've got rules for using your squads of Space Marines and your Orcs. There's a little bit of lore there saying that Orcs are going to attack the bunker. So very, very cool. It's good that they put stuff like that, so you're not just getting a card bunker to use in your games and that's it. They are giving you some actual tactics and rules to use for trying to assault the bunker and stuff like that. So very cool. And then we've got instructions for assembling your battle bunker. You can see where somebody's had that away out of the magazine. So as I said, a shame that that's not there. I am going to try and find one. I do search for one of these magazines every now and again just to see if I can find one with the bunker, just like the White Dwarf edition that had the Warhammer Old World map in it. That's one that's very, very rare as well, but I keep trying. But it was fairly simple to put together. All you needed was some glue and some patience, and then it says here if you want to do a base, just get a bit of cardboard and paint it green and stuff like that. It's a good idea to touch up the edges where the scored folds are being exposed and the white card and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a free gift in White Dwarf. It wasn't bad at all. And then the battle report in this month's White Dwarf was Death on the Sea of Claws. So this is a Dark Elf fleet in Man of War going up against Imperial vessels. As you can see, it was pretty simple miniatures, but it was a really cool game. Lots of counters, lots of rules, but it was really, really good. I mean, I didn't play a lot of Man of War, but the couple of games that I played, I did enjoy it. So the Dark Elf fleet was a Black Ark of Nagaroth, one squadron of 3 Doom Reavers, 3 Death Fortresses, Wizard Lord, and allies was a squadron of 3 Plague Crushers. So a Nurgle Plague Crushers they were. And then they were going up against an Empire fleet, which I can't actually see, but oh my goodness, look at that hair. How epic is that? Andy Jones, take a bow. So here's the setup and the plan, Empire setup and the plan. And then of course, as usual with White Dwarf battle reports from back in the day, we always get our coloured maps. You can see the ship cards there that they had for various different effects and stuff like that, damage tables. And oh, there we go, Empire fleet was the great ship Karl Franz, 1 squadron of 3 wolf ships, 1 squadron of 3 war galleys, another squadron of 3 war galleys, squadron of hellhammers, and a master wizard as well. Man of War, there we go, raging sea battles in the world of Warhammer. So in the box, you did get some ships, very basic, and then a billion counters, some card terrain and islands and stuff like that. Lots of cards, but you could go to town with your, you didn't just need a blue tablecloth. You could just put all sorts of bits in there to represent shipwrecks and stuff like that. And if you are interested in Man of War, you can still find copies on eBay that are complete for a reasonable price. Or failing that, buy Dreadfleet, because Dreadfleet was awesome. I know a lot of people thought it was rubbish. But I've done a whole separate video on that and why it was a bad time for Dreadfleet to come out when it did. But I think if it had come out today, it'd have been awesome because the miniatures in that game are absolutely stunning. Turn 3, you can see the fleets are starting to converge now, and then all sorts of carnage gets unleashed. Wind direction did play a factor in Man of War, of course. And then moving through the killing blow. And then as you can see, the Dark Elf Admiral gloats. Because they won, basically. They lost the Black Ark, but they won. So yeah, very interesting battle report. I need to read it again because I can't remember it properly. But the Imperial fleet, from what I remember, in fact it says here, the Imperial fleet was utterly destroyed at the hands of the Dark Elves. So the Dark Elves did take them all in. They lost the Black Ark, but they won. So there you go. Awesome bit of artwork there from the cover of Plague Fleet, which was one of the supplements for Man of War. And then we've got some flying creatures there, so Bretonnian Pegasus Riders, Dark Elf Manticore Riders. We've got a Bretonnian fleet clashing with the Dark Elves there on the high seas. I did love seeing stuff like this in White Dwarf with the custom terrain and stuff like that. But just add things like a little cave, very awesome. Mail order, as usual, in the back of your White Dwarf, so 2nd edition 40k. Of course, no internet back then, so you did it over the phone, or you filled in this in with your codes and what you needed, sent your money off, or with a postal order or something like that, and they just sent it to you. So, looking at some of the prices, Warhammer Fantasy £29.99, Warhammer Battle Magic £17.99, 40k was 35 quid, Codex Space Wolves £10, Space Wolves Dreadnought £20 for a metal Beyond the Fell-Handed, not very expensive at all. Space Marine Rhino £5.99. Said this in previous White Dwarf read-throughs. The prices back then were absolutely brilliant. But we probably didn't think so at the time, but looking at it compared to what it is now, really good. £1.35 for an Adeptus Arbites or Arbites miniature, £1.35 each. Space Orc Warriors £7.99. Space Marine the Game Epic £29.99. Man of War £24.99 for a full box game. And then we've got your expansion, so Plague Fleet 15 quid, Sea of Blood 15 quid. I was looking at Sea of Blood sealed on eBay the other day and it was £150, so just goes to show you. There's Man of War. Special deals, you could get both fleets together from the battle report that we've just read. They often did that. If there was a battle report in White Dwarf, you could get the miniatures from that battle report all together in a deal from mail order. You just had to ring up and tell them what you wanted. And then, of course, we've got the warships and the stuff from Man of War. So you got metal hulls and stuff like that, and then we got plastic masts, and then your sails were actually paper and cards. So sails and pennants may be photocopied, cut out, painted and stuck onto your miniatures. So they're not like the ships in Dreadfleet now where you had the plastic sails. You just got the Man of War plastic masts sprue, and then you had to cut these out and paint them yourself, which is why most of them just had stripes or were painted a single block colour and then a skull painted on them or something like that. So as you can see here, these have all been hand painted with various different symbols. So it was up to you what you wanted to do with them. You could go to town or you could just have them Billy Basic if you wanted to. So that's your Black Ark of Nagaroth. Fantastic looking ship there. Look at the prow on that. Plague Crusher with a catapult tower, plague ships. And then we've got Bretonnian Pegasus Riders and Manticore Riders. There's Sea of Blood with the dwarf on the front there. Griffin Riders, Wyvern Riders, High Elf Eagle Riders, High Elf Dragon Riders, Dwarf Gyrocopter and a Dwarf War Balloon as well. And then Hobgoblins for Fantasy, so Hobgoblin Standard Bearers, Sneaky Gits there, Hobgoblin Bolt Thrower, and then we've got a Spear Loader and a Firer there. Then we've got Undead, so we've got the Leash King's Chariot and the fantastic horses there. There's the Leash King. Skaven, Rat Ogres, Vermin Lord, Greater Demon of the Home Rat there. And then we've got more Skaven, so we've got Lord Scroak, Completed Warlord, Quick Head Taker there. And then we've got the Squat Cyclops there for Epic. Nice little metal chunks that you just stuck together. And then we've got Bjorn the Fell-Handed, of course, and the Adeptus Arbites or RBTs. Champion with shotgun, with grenade launcher, bolter, and the shotgun guy, that's it. And then on the back, as usual, we've got some nice artwork. An Empire army faces an undead host led by Arkhan the Black, the Leash King. I know Ben would love this picture because it's got the Imperial War Wagon on there and stuff like that. But that's it. That is just a quick blast through White Dwarf 169. A little bit quicker than the last one, White Dwarf 174, because that was one of my favourite editions of White Dwarf. But next up, I'm going to be doing White Dwarf 185, which has got Codex Ultramarines on the cover. And I've got some more White Dwarfs back from the Hero Quest and Space Crusade era as well. So White Dwarf 134, 140, and I think 145. Those ones had rules for like using Space Marine Scouts, Space Marine Terminators, and Tyranids in Games of Space Crusade as well. So look out for those. But anyway, that's it for today. Just a quick run through White Dwarf 169. If you enjoyed this video, if you liked having a look through an old White Dwarf, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know you've enjoyed it. And if you didn't enjoy it, just leave me a comment. Let me know what you didn't like, because at the end of the day, that's always helps me make better videos going forward. Don't forget you can catch me on the Warhammer podcast. That's going to be every fortnight from now on instead of every week. We're moving to a fortnightly schedule, but be sure to check that out. I'll leave links in the description of this video for the Warhammer podcast and previous episodes of White Dwarf Retro Read Through. But anyway, that's enough for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because that does really help me out. And all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.